Hi everyone. Made this video to demonstrate the subaquatic nature of the International Space Station, that I think by the end of the video I think we should be calling it the International Subaquatic Station. All the so-called spacewalks are since the first one subaquatic and made in a swimming pool. First we'll have a launch of the space shuttle where we can learn what PhD we need to have to be an astronaut. Ice cream seller and snail farmer seems to be the main requested ones. Then we'll see the first American spacewalk by Ed White, with the first air bubble flowing out of the helmet. Then we'll go to more hard evidence, undeniable, of where they make these movies in a swimming pool. And the Masonic gesture. There you go.
Flown astronauts. 8.5 minutes we were to orbit, and we got to work turning the orbiter into the rocket into an orbiter so we could start with our mission. Open the tail bay doors and we were off and running.
Almost immediately we begin the rendezvous.
Somehow this doesn't look real, does it?
I'm up there in the front along with my core rendezvous team, Dave Wolf, who's a former ice cream salesman, Piers Sellers, the snail farmer, and Pam Melroy, who we call Tank Girl. Imagine how that would feel. We're all on the flight deck here. We all have a lot to do. It's very crowded. We're looking out two tiny windows as we travel along.
This looks real also. Very real. Well done.
Both vehicles traveling that speed. This picture's about 45 minutes before docking.
Oh yeah.
You can see that we're...
Now this is Ed White. And this is the first American spacewalk. And as you can see, that's the first American air bubble flowing from the helmet. And again, a bit slower now. Look at that. That's so funny. This is from Wikipedia, so we can have some knowledge about what's the thermosphere. Probably should make a pause and to read it a bit better. And I think we should change also the terminology. It should be more like the thermoplane or the atmoplane, because sphere, we don't live in the sphere, so thermosphere doesn't sound right to me at the moment. As you can see, the area after 160 miles up is unacoustic, so there is no transmission of sound or heat. That's what they say why the International Space Station didn't melt down so far, and why the astronauts don't get transformed in ashes. Previously we were seeing astronaut swimming. Here we are seeing now some bubbles just getting out of the ISS and some of the astronauts. So that was the first one. This is maybe like a 5 seconds video here, and already 2 bubbles were visible. So there is some more. There you go, another one. Lovely. It's amazing how these guys doesn't burn with 2500 degrees. Anyway, in the next segments we'll be looking at EVA 30 and EVA 31 that were made with a GoPro camera with audio. here usually in these subaquatic walks, usually they muffle the sound, so we could not listen the real sound that's going on. Luckily we have access to these two ones like this. This is from EVA 30, and we'll start to see some of the bubbles and listen some of what's the real sounds of the spacewalks. So we realize this is just a subaquatic walk. So this is now, I think, time for some shower air bubbles. There you go. It's so many that the guy put the hand in front of the camera trying to hide, because they were too many, but they keep flowing. Just too many. Because they keep flowing out of the ISS, the guy decided to change the camera to another view. Hello, subaquatic man. Now here in this we can listen a breath of some scuba diver and bubbling flowing out. I don't know. You cannot have this sound in space to start, like subaquatic sound of bubbling, and the guy like Darth Vader. Now some more bubbles going on. Put some slow motion so everyone can see these bubbles just getting out. This one was from the solar panel-ish. Okay, I think we cannot call it solar panels, maybe subaquatic panels or something like that. Well, this is the real sound from the real subaquatic walk. Now, if we can listen all these sounds of this person activity, I think we can suppose that if they were at 400 kilometers high and the sound is propagated so clearly, so the heat and radiation will have the same kind of propagation, transmission. So I want someone to explain me how they can survive 2500 degrees Celsius. Here is a helmet and glove check, and will be fun because the helmet and glove check is to check if they have water. That's fun. Water. They are in the vacuum of space. Should be no water there. You can see that they float like they are in water, and usually the legs go up because it's where they don't have weight, so they are pushed up to the surface of the swimming pool. Now here the glove check, and listen what these astronauts say. one finger, two fingers. I have all my fingers. Oh my God.
Wheels, my haversack's good, there's no water in my helmet, and on my left glove at the base. Wheels, my haversack's good, there's no water in my helmet, and on my left glove at the base. Wheels, my haversack's good, there's no water in my helmet, and on my left glove at the base.
Oh, wonderful. There is no water on the helmet of the astronaut. That's very reassuring, you know. You are in space. We never know when you can get this water on the helmet. I don't know. Look at, listen, all these noises and tell me this is at 400 kilometers high in the vacuum of space where there is no molecules to make the transmission of sound and heat. And that's, oh, that's a big sun. As you could see, when the metal piece goes in front, you can see just a small light source. Well, and that was a metallic bang when the guy went by this kind of metallic structure. So if metal can this kind of propagation, so heat. And remember, they say it's 400 kilometers high, 2500 Celsius, and it's again now another rain of air bubbles. Not one, not two, it's a gazillion. Ay, ay, ay. I want to see how do you debunk this. It's debris from space. You got to be blind if you believe that. Look at that. It's too many air bubbles. More noise and more bubbles. Look at that. It's not one, it's a lot of them. It seems every time they bang some parts of the structure, just a lot of bubbles flow out. Then they try to get the camera in a different view, but too late. Just too much water, too much underwater noises. If you ever have done snorkeling or scuba diving, you recognize clearly these sounds from being recorded underwater. And here just some more bubble. There you go.